Hey, what's going on guys? Today I'm going to be doing a Steinmetz Solid 5x5 build. Now for those of you that don't know what the Steinmetz Solid is, basically if you take 3 intersecting cylinders, or pretty much any number of intersecting cylinders, the internal volume of those cylinders is a Steinmetz Solid, and that's what I'm going to be building today. For this build I was going to be doing the 2-cylinder variant, and I might do the full Steinmetz Solid with 3 axes a little later on. But for now, I tightened the puzzle up and I made sure that nothing would turn before I took it over to my bandsaw. I was going to be making basically 2 barrels instead of just one, so I tilted the table to 45 degrees and then I cut off 8 of the edges. After everything was done, if you want to build this puzzle for yourself, you want something that looks a little like this. Now that everything was cut, usually I take the puzzle over to my belt sander and I begin turning it between centers until I form the cylindrical shape on both of the axes. But today I was going to be doing something a little different. I was going to be filling all of the pieces and then I would turn it afterwards. I don't really have a reason to do this, it's just another way of going about the same modification. After disassembling the puzzle, I mixed up some epoxy sculpt and then I filled all of the pieces. There's no right or wrong way to fill all of these pieces, I just like to slowly stuff all of the cavities that I've exposed after I've cleaned up all of the pieces first. I left it overnight to cure, and after everything was cured, I reassembled the puzzle. And now that all that boring filling was out of the way, it was time to focus on getting the final shape of the puzzle. That's one of the reasons why I like building puzzles this way as opposed to getting the final shape and then filling all the pieces. I suppose they both have their pros and cons, but it's a lot easier to just fill the puzzle and then focus on the shaping. So I took the puzzle over to my belt sander and I began turning it on one of the centers, and I slowly formed one half of it into a barrel. After I was done with that, I turned it by 90 degrees and then I did the same thing on another axis. After a little time on the belt sander, I had finally built up the shape that I wanted, and you can see right here that it rolls on both of those axes like a cylinder, but it isn't a sphere, which is a unique and pretty cool thing I like about this kind of shape. Now that that shape was done, it was time to disassemble the puzzle so that I could knock off all of the sharp edges of each of the pieces and round everything over. This is a really important step, and I encourage you to take most of your time in building puzzles on this final finishing process. What I like to use is a nail file to knock off all of the sharp edges, and then I rub all the pieces down with some Scotch-Brite just to round everything over. After all of that was done, I reassembled the puzzle, but much like the last puzzle in this series, I didn't bother painting it. I'm trying to get out of painting all of my puzzles because I find that all of the contact surfaces the paint usually scratches off, so to avoid that, I'm just not going to paint it in the first place. I should probably also point out that one of the reasons why I'm able to do this and not worry about the paint is that the black epoxy sculpt tends to darken over time, especially with the oil from your hands or if you rub it down with some WD-40 like I've explained in previous videos. This actually used to be a way that I used to get around having to paint the inside parts of my puzzles because they would just naturally darken anyway because of the lubricant that I used at the time. After everything was reassembled, it was time to get some stickers out, and I pulled some pre-cut stickers out from my big sticker drawer, and I also pulled out some uncut sticker vinyl so that I could cut some stickers for the areas that regular stickers wouldn't quite fit in. And now that I had all of the stickers out, it was time to start stickering. And this gets boring really fast. After everything was stickered up, here is the final puzzle, and I'm pretty happy with how it looks. I really love the Steinmetz Solid puzzles. I think that they're very interesting, and it's kind of a shame that you don't see that many puzzles in this shape around. I suppose I have made a few and I've seen a few more, but I really want to explore these kinds of puzzles in a little more depth. I want to try a 3-cylinder variant, and I also want to experiment with a 4-cylinder variant that I'll be doing sometime in the future. But anyways, I really hope you guys like this puzzle, and I hope you guys like this video, and try it out for yourself. It was a pretty fun modification. But anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all next time.